All right, so we've already covered the assembly, and then I asked you to just make a real quick exploded view of the presentation. So now you're on to the next step, which is creating a set of working drawings. These are the documents that you're actually going to print off and have a hard copy of to be able to go out in the shop and make sure that you're cutting everything the right size and assembling things the correct distance apart and drilling holes in the correct location, things like that. We do have to do a little bit more work on that side, but I want to show you the drawing side now. So we're going to go up to New, and this time we're going to use the GoHawk. And in my case, I have GoHawk manufacturing template. I'm not sure which one you have. GoHawk title block, maybe. Should say GoHawk. I always like bells. Should say GoHawk something. So go ahead and create. We'll let that open up here. And from here, it automatically prompts you to put in your name. So this will be, actually, I should use all caps on this. So you should use caps lock here. B-R-Y. Come on, caps lock, buddy. There we go. Caps lock. Brian Benham. Part name is the clock. I'm not sure what scale at this point we're going to be able to go on this. Let's go. It's not going to be full. Let's go to 1 to 2, so a half scale. Every 1 inch is actually, or 1 inch is 2 inches or whatever. So date is going to be, I'm not sure what period you are. We'll just put that in there for that, and we'll put ITT in for that. Okay. So this might pop up. Just hit OK. It's not a big deal. It just depends on what your Inventor is that you're using. And then that automatically populates this, which is nice. So first page of your drawing sheet is going to be your assembly view. So we'll go to base. And from here, you're going to actually have to hit open, and it should pop up maybe these file types. That's good. It pops up my assembly. That's what I want first. We're going to open that. A couple things. I like the shaded view. And I also like to kind of click in and create this, whatever view makes it look isometric. Looks like it has a quarter scale on this, but that's cool. That works. Then we'll go ahead and hit OK. And then if you hover over your drawing, you'll see ant trails. You can left click and you can actually slide those off to the side a little bit. So that's my assembled view. I'm going to do another base view in this case. Usually we'll do projected, but for this first document, we'll do another base view. This time we're going to actually go to my presentation files. And that's the one where I made my exploded view. And we'll hit open here. Again, I like shaded for these. And then I'll hit that home view to kind of get the same thing going on. That's a strange scale right there. Maybe we can go 0.2. 5. Yeah, I think that works. 0.25 scale. I like it. We'll hit OK. And again, we'll come over to the ant trail. We'll kind of bring that off to the side right there. And that'll kind of help us a little bit with our exploded view. We can do some other things at this point. We can actually create bubbles and things like that. But for this simple clock, we'll just keep it at that. Next, we want to make a drawing for each one of these parts and use the dimensions on it so we know where to set up our saws and things like that. So we're just going to come over here to New Sheet. And that new sheet basically, again, this time if you just want to put your last name, that's fine. Benham. And this is going to, let's go side on this one. And we'll go 1 to 2. Let's go 126, 16. Period X, class, ITT. Okay, and what that does is create a new sheet right here. So that's my old sheet right over here. That's my new sheet. So I can always just double click here. There's my other sheet. I can double click back to the light gray one. This is my side. So we're going to go base view, open, presentation files. Now we want part files. Side, open. And basically what you have to do is you kind of pick which, what you want your view, what you want your front view to be. Now, if you remember my conversations about drawings and things like that, it's the view that basically has the most details in it. So for us, I believe it's going to be probably the top view because that's what I drew it in. So that's going to be my first one. We'll just keep the scale the same. everything the same. We don't change these. These we don't want shaded, just the assembly views. So hit OK. And we'll just kind of slide that over to where the front view should be. And then we'll project views here and here. And then last but not least here. Those are just clicks, by the way, to place the views. Left clicks. And now when you're on the last one, you have to right click and you have to use create. And that'll actually fix those. This view right here, I like to come back in and double click it. Change that back to shaded and hit OK. Kind of gives me, doesn't look so good in black, I'll tell you that. So maybe I'm going to undo that. It looks better like that. So depending on your colors that you chose, that might be good or bad. So from here, I look at this and I'm like, you know, I feel like these views could be just a little bit bigger. So I'm going to go to the very first one I put. I'm going to double click that. And instead of 0.25, I think I'm going to go to 0.5 once. Let's see what that looks like. Can I get away with it? I'm just clicking and dragging those views out a little bit. Yeah, I think I like that. That'll work. So once you have your views all placed and you like them, you got some white space between all of them. Nothing's touching. I hate it. I hate stuff like that. Ugh, it drives me crazy. So make sure you got a little bit of white space between all your views. If we can dimension in between these views, that's always a nice place to do it. So here we go. After we do that, we're going to annotate it. We're going to go to dimension. And for us, we need to know, you know, some dimensions of how big things are. So we might need to know what the distance from this line to this line, that'll be my overall width of my part. We're going to need to know that. We can just hit OK. We're going to need to know what the distance is, you know, between the overall length of the part. Hit OK. And last but not least, we're going to need to know the thickness of the part, which is this right here. Hit OK. So that gives you your overall dimensions. So if I was going to go out and cut this down to size, this will give me my thickness and my width and my length. And now we look at the features and we say, all right, what features do we have right here? And we have to kind of know how big this slot is and also where the location is going to be. So if I take a look at that, I'll kind of click here and I'll click here, and that'll kind of bring this down and say, hey, that width is 0.5. And then I'll go ahead and drag that over, and that'll say, hey, the depth of that slot is 0.25. And probably the last thing we need to know, the last thing we need to know is kind of where it's at, either from here to here or from here to here. It doesn't necessarily matter for us. So let's just try from here to here, because we need to know where it's at. Let's bring that down a little bit, place it, hit OK. So it's 0.75 away. So that gives me the size of the slot and the location of the slot, and really that's all I need for this drawing. If I have it done, I'll click Save. This'll tell me my clock. I got my caps on again. Clock drawing set. Save. So now you have that going on, and you're going to go and you're going to repeat that for each of your other parts. So just in review, you're going to repeat that. So you're going to go back to place views. That's where the new sheet tab is. You're going to go ahead and put your name in there and whatever one you want to do next. Nice. 1 to 2. Date. Period. And ITT. So now you have that going on right there. And we're going to bring in our base view for our bottom file. Bottom, open. Again, I might rotate this a little bit if I want to, just to keep it the same as all the other ones. You don't necessarily have to, whatever you want. I think we went to 0.5 on that. No, we didn't. Ooh, geez, that one's a little bit bigger, isn't it? We'll go there. Bring that off to the side, get that where we want it, and then we'll go to project views. Here, 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 right click, create. This one doesn't have any features in it, so it's just sizes. That's a quick one. Annotate, dimension, this distance, thickness, and your overall length. And that's all you need. Save. Go ahead and put your other pieces in. You'll need the decorative top and the top on this working drawing set, and you'll have everything done, ready for me to take a look at and see if we're ready to go to the shop and make this thing. So good luck making your working drawings. Alright, this is a quick video on the assembly of the mantel clock project that we're working on. I've already created all 4 of the parts right here based on the sketches that I made earlier. I also just changed the colors of them just to make it a little bit easier to understand. And I also do not have any routed edges on them at all. So it's just the size of the boards. We're going to go ahead and assemble it. So if you have the screen, you can open that. Otherwise, we'll go new, standard.iam, create, which is the assembly file. First part that I want to pull in here is going to be what everything is the grounded part. It's the one that all of them are going to go to. So we're going to want to go ahead and have the bottom as our first part. If we kind of go to the home view right here, zoom out a little bit, go ahead and place that right there. Escape on the keyboard will clear out that one. Come over to the bottom, right click it, and ground it. Got a little pin on it now. That way we can't move it around. Alright, so we got the bottom. From here, next up, let's go ahead and bring the sides in. So we're going to go to place, side, open. If we want to, we can, if you remember this, rotate, rotate on the X. It depends on how you drew yours. That's how I drew mine. Place a couple of those, hit escape. And again, I'm in the home view, so this is, in this case, this is the front. Mine's looking a little funky, so I mean, I'm going to have this right side. This is going to be like my front of my clock. This is going to be my side, so that's important to make sure you know what you're doing there. All right, so we need 3 constraints whenever we work with rectangular stock or wood stock. A little different than the project we worked on before. So we're going to go to constraint. We're going to do all 3 of them the normal mates, okay? Might have to change the solutions a little bit, but that's how we're going to do it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put some glue there. I call it glue because it's kind of like, hey, where would I be clicking on to do what I need to do? And there. So what that does is that, flushes that up right there, okay? So that's 1. That's good. We'll hit apply. The issue is we can still move things around a little bit. So from there, we're going to flip around to the back side, and we're going to go ahead and constraint this and that. And you can see mine flipped around. So I'm just going to use the different solution. I'm going to use the flush instead of the mate. So I'm going to click flush to make them flush. Sweet. So that's good. Hit apply. And the only one left is going to be the one that tells us how far in is this thing supposed to go. So we'll go ahead and select the outside and this one, and that's flush, but this time we're going to put a distance in there. If I remember right, we're going to go ahead and try 0.75. Now if you notice, that comes out the wrong way. That's not going to work, so I'm going to have to put a negative sign at the beginning. Now yours might be a little different, but that's how mine's working out. So I'm going to go 0.75. Hit apply, and now if I close that out, I can. I got this piece all set up with the dado edge towards the inside. Everything's good to go. I want to repeat the process quickly for the other side, so we'll go ahead and do that. So we're going to select this. We're going to select the bottom of that. Okay. And I'm going to hit apply. If you notice, my groove's going the wrong way, so I'm hoping that when I flush these... Oh, I messed that up, didn't I? I have to hit cancel, undo, because I needed to actually flip this thing upside down, didn't I? So constraint, I need to select this face and this face, so that way the groove's going to the inside and the groove's going to the inside. Kind of hard to see with black, I guess, but there we go. Apply. Flip around to the back side. Let's flush up that face with this face. Again, I need to change my solution. Looks good. Apply. And last but not least, you're outside. Remember, I set that at 0.75. And we might change that later. So this one's a positive number. Sweet. Apply. We're good. Next up is going to bring the top and the decorative top. So I'm going to go ahead and place the top first. Open. And then I'm just going to hit escape on the keyboard. And I'm also going to place the decorative top as well right now, just to get it out of the way. And escape. So the decorative top gets centered on this top, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to constrain our glue first. We're going to glue these puppies together. In our case, we're going to screw it together, but that's all right. Okay, so that's the first one. Next one will be here to here. We'll have to flip that so it looks good. Now, you got some distance in here. We need to know what the difference between that distance is, okay? So we need a number that's going to move this thing to where it's supposed to be. Rather than guessing on it, we can do the math to figure that thing out. So basically, if we know that this piece is 11 inches long, this piece is 9 3/4 inches long, we can do the math to figure out the distance on that. I'm going to do this on the fly here because I didn't write it down, but you'll get what I got going on here. So 11 divided by 2 is 5.5. 9, sorry about that. 9 3/4 is the length of this piece. That divided by 2, I don't know off the top of my head. 4.875. So what I need to do is I need to go 5.5 minus 4.875. So both of those divided by 2, 0.625 should be my offset. And that looks awesome. Apply. And guess what? You're going to do the same thing for your widths. Okay, so you're going to basically say, all right, we're going to put a constraint here and a constraint here, and it's flushed, but we're going to need to know the difference of those two. This is where it might change depending on what you did for your pieces, and we're working on a little bit different design there, but we're seeing what we can do there. If you ever want to, I'm just gonna X that out for real quick. If you ever want to know like how big something is, you can always go to your Inspect tab. Distance, I do that every once in a while, and I just click on like this line. That's 3.5. So we need 3.5 divided by 2, and we also need 2.25 divided by 2. All right, so we'll go back to assembly, constraint, this and this. Flush those up, and bring my calculator back up, and we have 2.25 divided by 2. That's one number I want to write down. So I'm just writing this on a scratch piece of paper right now so I don't forget, because that's a lot of numbers in my head. 3.5 divided by 2. 1.75. Subtract that away from 1.125. And wow, look at that. That's actually the same offset. Cool. Well, I guess an inch off, but yeah. Oh, yeah. That works. So same offset. That's centered. That's centered. Everything's centered on that bad boy. Apply. So now we have these pieces all together, and now we can just worry about putting these back on the top, which would be a lot easier. All right, so last constraint. Let's put the glue on first. So constraint, click that, going on the top of the side, right? So we glue it there first, apply. It's going to get flushed up with the back. This is a little design change, at least this is what we're trying. That way it flushes up to the back of your mantle. That doesn't look right, so we'll try the other one. That does look right if you zoom in. It's flushed up just like this one is. Apply. And now I believe your distances should be the same. So I think you should be able to flush up these two ends and just with no offset. And that should all be lined up. Apply. And that's your multicolored clock. Boy, that looks ugly. Sure looked a lot nicer with red oak, but that's what we got to start with. That's a lot of processes in there to do the assembly, but That's what we want to work on today and get that thing all set up. Now, when we go to do our drawings, we're actually going to router this decorative top piece here and kind of put that all together. We'll router all the way around this one. We'll only router one side here, and we'll router three sides, front faces, and some things there. But we can do that in the fabrication stages, or we can make notes of that on the drawing rather than getting into the Inventor model to make it happen. So if you have extra time, we'll do that for extra credit. But for this is what we need to be able to fabricate. So good luck. Let's get this thing knocked out.